Hello all my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. If this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa and I and I would like to welcome you into the fam. So guys, today I'm going to be clearing up the air on a common area of misconception in astrology, which is about cusp signs. So within this video, I am first going to explain what cusp signs are and how they are defined so that you can figure out whether you are in fact a cusp sign, whether you were born on a cusp. And then once I've explained everything about cusp signs that you need to know, I will then explain the meaning of each and every cusp. So this video's purpose is definitely to be highly informative and to hopefully teach you something new in astrology. So if you love learning new things about astrology, spirituality, and you like pick a card reading videos, then make sure that you subscribe to my channel in order to never miss another piece of valuable information. But for now, let's get into cusp signs so that we can figure out whether you are a cusp sign, and if you truly are a cusp sign, also figure out exactly what that may mean for you. So if you've always felt like your zodiac sign doesn't fully resonate with you, this may be why you may in fact be a cusp sign. Because if you're born at the cusp of another sign, you've most likely wondered how much this really influences you and your personality as well as your natal chart. And maybe you've even questioned whether you truly are the zodiac sign that you've identified yourself by for your entire existence. So from an astrological standpoint, your sun sign, also known as zodiac sign, is probably the most important influence within your life. Your sun sign, which is known as your zodiac sign, so those terms are interchangeable for any of you who didn't know that. That sign determines lots of aspects of your character, lots of aspects about your behavioral patterns and your personal preferences in life. So it's only natural that you would, of course, want to be able to be 100% certain of what your sun sign or your zodiac sign truly is. And also, if you have an acquaintance, a family member, a crush, just someone in general who is a cusp sign, you may find a lot of great insight and information as well as explanations as to why they are the way that they are if you've always kind of wondered about their astrological background and how that reflects within their behavioral pattern. So the word cusp comes from the Latin word cuspis, I hope I said that right, which means point. So the cusp is the exact point at which a new zodiac sign begins. So for example, if you're born at the cusp of Leo, you're born exactly as the sign of Leo begins. So born on the cusp really means to be born on the edge of when a new zodiac sign begins. So for example, if you were born on the 22nd of June, then you are born on the cusp of Cancer. And depending on the exact time at which you were born, you could actually still be in the last degree of Gemini. And this type of discrepancy occurs because the sun doesn't enter the exact same sign, the exact same astrological sign at the exact same time each and every year. There's always a little bit of a difference there. So if your birthday falls on the exact day where a zodiac sign changes, it may actually really be worth looking into the precise time that you were born in and then figure out where the sun stood at that exact time at the moment of your birth, because it may actually turn out that you've been a completely different zodiac sign all along. And if this truly is the case for you and you have now figured out that you're actually a completely different sign and you resonate a lot more with that, then this is amazing because it will provide you with so much more clarity about yourself. And this video may actually already be a life changer, a big epiphany for you if you've just figured that out. But in astrology, there are lots of different opinions as to what still counts as a cusp sign. Some astrologers say that you are born on the cusp and influenced by the adjacent sign if you're within the first or last 10 days of the zodiac sign. And some astrologers say that you're only truly a cusp if you're born within the first or last 72 hours of your zodiac sign. So for this video, we're going to go right down the middle. We're not going to do this on one extreme or the other, so you can consider yourself a cusp sign if you were born within the first or last 5 days of a zodiac sign. So if you've now learned that you are a cusp sign, or that someone really close to you is in fact a cusp sign, someone who has had a great impact on your life, then you now can understand that you're greatly influenced by two signs, not just one. And just to make things extra clear, scroll down into the description box where I have listed all of the days as well as what type of cusp sign that you are. So all that you need to do is compare your date of birth with the dates that I have listed down below in the description box, and you'll be able to see whether you are in fact a cusp sign or not. And just to be absolutely clear, your sun sign is still the stronger sign, but understanding that you're a cusp and that you are influenced by another sign as well may help explain so much more about you. Because in some rare cases, people actually resonate with their other sign, which is their cusp sign, a lot more than with their sun sign. So for example, if you are a Pisces and you were born on February 20th, but during the time of your birth, okay, the exact precise time of your birth, the sun was still in Aquarius, you are technically an Aquarian. Or for example, if you were born on December 22nd and the sun was leaving Sagittarius and it was entering Capricorn, you might actually still be a Sagittarius depending on the exact time of your birth and the exact placement of the sun. So this really depends on your birth chart, whether you resonate more with your sun sign or your cusp sign. So as a cusp sign, you will most likely be able to feel that you are a mixture, that you don't quite belong into one category or one box, and you will most likely recognize yourself in the cusp descriptions that I have created and that I have timestamped down below in the description box. So I really hope that this portion of the video helped explain once and for all what a cusp sign is, and that it also allowed you to understand whether you are a cusp sign or not. So if you are a cusp sign, or you have a cusp sign in your life that you would like to know more about, then click their cusp timestamp down below in the description box or pinned to the comment section. You can find it there as well, because now I am going to be moving into talking about each and every one of the cusp signs. And we will be starting off with the cusp of Aries. So I will be using a little bit of help in form of my notebook, because I have taken notes for each and every cusp sign. So if you see me looking down, then that's because I'm trying to make sure that I get every little bit of information out to you. So first we're going to be discussing the cusps of Aries. So the cusps of Aries are for those born on March 21st through March 25th, as well as April 15th through April 19th. So if you were born on March 21st through March 25th, then you are in fact just on the cusp of Aries. So you are an Aries with Pisces tendencies if you're born during this time. You're the type of person who is very warm, empathetic, and kind. You have that perfect mixture between being fiery and passionate, but also warm and understanding and compassionate. And you're someone who is very headstrong. So you can be kind of stubborn and impulsive at times. So that's where your Aries tendencies can take over. You're a very independent and fierce person if you're born on March 21st through March 25th, and you're the type of person that can also be very quiet and kind of withdrawn if you feel slighted or if you feel like you've been put in a compromised or difficult situation. So for anyone who is a Aries cusp, it is definitely important to make sure that you're doing your meditations and that you're taking care of your mental health and talking to someone even when you're going through a difficult time. So if you're born between April 15th through April 19th, you are in fact on the cusp of Aries as well. So you are a Aries with Taurus tendencies if you're born April 15th through April 19th. People who are Aries with Taurus tendencies are very fiery as well as romantic. They like the finer things in life. They're very honest as well as passionate. So those are the kind of qualities that people really appreciate in you. Compared to other Arians, you finish what you started. If you're born on the cusp of Aries and you have that Taurus mixture within you, and you're someone who's very determined. So when you set your mind to something, you really do get it done. You really do finish it. But you can also be very stubborn. So stubborn in a good way, but also stubborn in a way that can ruffle some people's feathers, if you know what I mean. You can be high strung because compared to people who are purely Tauruses, you're the type of person who still has that passionate, fiery edge of Aries. And you're somebody who always feels things to a very strong extent, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. When you feel something, you feel it. So next, let's talk about the cusp of Taurus. So we will first be discussing the cusp of Taurus, which is born between April 20th and April 24th. So if you're born between April 20th and April 24th, you're a Taurus with Aries tendencies. You're independent, very strong-willed, and you're the type of person that can't be held back. So once you've set your mind to something, you are going to do it no matter what. You are also someone who hides their insecurities and who doesn't want to seem weak. And that is one thing that goes for Taurus as well as Aries. You're an amazing lover. You're very passionate as well as impulsive. That keeps a partner on their toes, and you kind of like keep romantic partners guessing in a good way. You do not like rules, and maybe at an earlier point in your life or still today, you don't really do well when it comes to authority, especially if somebody is trying to like push their authoritative energy on you. That's a hard no for anyone who's born on the cusp of Taurus. So now let's move into the cusp of Taurus, born May 16th through May 20th. So if you're born between May 16th and May 20th, you are a Taurus with Gemini tendencies. So you have a very attractive personality, even if you don't realize it or notice it, and you are a great communicator. You're the type of person who can go really far, especially in like a HR department or in any type of job where you have to communicate a message to other people. You are ambitious and strong-willed. You have really strong willpower, and you're always very real and honest to the point where you might hurt other people's feelings. You're straightforward. You're never going to tell a lie to comfort somebody. You would rather hurt them with the truth. People find conversation with you easy and enjoyable, except when it's about really deep emotions or love. All of my Taurus cusps, just talking about emotions and deep things overall, is not always your strong suit and is something that you typically try to avoid, especially if you don't know the person very well. You can be a little bit shut off when it comes to deep emotions. But otherwise, with communication, you're really great when it comes to diplomatic conversations, as well as sticking to a particular subject that doesn't just center around you and your emotions. So now let's talk about the cusp of Gemini. Let's start off with the cusp of Gemini for everyone who's born between May 21st as well as May 25th. So if you're born between the 21st of May as well as the 25th of May, you are a Gemini with Taurus tendencies, which makes for a great mixture when it comes to communication. You're a very tactful person. You're really good with friends, and you're that mom friend that a lot of people come to for honest but really good advice that is brought to them in a kind and loving way, yet never misses the mark. It never misses the point. If you're born on the cusp of Gemini, you are someone who is very practical as well as realistic when it comes to money, and also you are artistically very gifted. So you're not the type of person who is going to overcompensate when it comes to money just to impress other people. Yes, you like nice things, but you're not going to go out there and spend a lot of money to impress people with material things. You're realistic, and you know where your budget lies. You're also someone who makes really great first impressions if you're born on the cusp of Gemini, and this is something that keeps you in the good books forever. All of my beautiful cusp Geminis. So really play into that strength and make sure that when you have first impressions, first meetings with people, if you can, I know it's not always possible, but if you can, try to meet people personally rather than online, because you really do shine when people get to meet you in the flesh. So let's move on to anyone who is born on the cusp of Gemini from June 16th through to June 20th. So if you're born between June 16th and June 20th, you are a Gemini with Cancer tendencies. You're very quick-witted, you're very communicative, but you can also be a little bit conservative. So you watch your words and you're very aware of what you're saying. You are a tactful person. You're trustworthy and you like familiarity as well as family. That's really important to you. You're a straight shooter, you're honest, and you're the type of person who just cannot stand lies or anybody who's insincere. Even if it's a little white lie, it is unacceptable. If you're on the cusp of Gemini, you have a very sensitive nature that a lot of people underestimate. A lot of people see a tough exterior, a tough shell, and they don't expect you to be so sensitive on the inside, which often makes you like an overachiever because you don't want to show your weaknesses and you don't want to show your soft side. So be very aware that being an overachiever may put you in a good spot in some instances, but it could also leave you feeling burnt out more often than other cusps or other signs. So try to keep yourself in check if you are a cusp of Gemini. So next, let's talk about the cusps of Cancer. So the first cusp of Cancer is for anyone born June 21st throughout June 25th. So if you're born between June 21st and June 25th, you are a Cancer with Gemini tendencies. So you're very generous, you're somebody who has a very intellectual mind, and you're very smart and quick-witted. You're someone who is like a softie inside, and you're highly affected by emotions, more affected than you want to let on, because again, you're a softie inside, which means that you have that hard crab exterior on the outside, which is hard for people to get through to sometimes. When you are a cusp of Cancer, born between June 21st and June 25th, you kind of get along with most people or everyone. You're the type of person that can get comfortable, well, you're not comfortable, but you make other people comfortable in any situation. Even if you're not 100% comfortable or you would have rather stayed at home and been at home, you're still good in social situations, and you show up and you put on a brave face, you put on a smile, and you know that your energy and your mood can affect an entire room. So you would never use that in order to drag the mood down. Quite the contrary, you are the type of person who will try to uplift everybody. You're someone who needs a lot of stimulation and change. So while you get along with everyone, you're also very easily bored by a lot of people. So try to keep yourself busy when it comes to your hobbies, and also try to find parts of friends and family that are really interesting. So let's move into the cusp of Cancer, born July 18th through to July 22nd. So if you're born between July 18th through to July 22nd, you are a Cancer with Leo tendencies. This makes for a very explosive combination. You're the type of person who doesn't allow yourself to be too vulnerable. So as a Cancer with Leo tendencies, you have a hard exterior and you have a lot of passion about different things in different areas of life, but this is not something that you're going to easily share if it makes you vulnerable. You like to keep good things to yourself and your inner circle, which is one thing that protects your heart more often than you most likely realize. You're sensitive, very clever, and forceful. So sensitive meaning you do have a very sensitive inside or sensitive personal side to you, if that makes any sense. And you're very clever about hiding that. And When you do need to come out though and show people who you are and show people that you have a lot of strength, especially if people take your kindness for weakness or take you for granted, you can be super, super forceful and explosive, as mentioned. You like doing things on your own more than you like doing things with others. Cusp Cancers are introverts still, just like regular Cancerians, and you love to take your time and you love when people are patient with you, because that is one thing that you really need. You're a gentle heart and a gentle soul at the core. So let's move into the cusps of Leo. So first, let's talk about the cusp of Leo, born July 23rd through July 27th, shall we? So this cusp of Leo is very warm as well as loyal. So you are a Leo with Cancer tendencies. So the Leo side of you is passionate, it's adventurous, it's active, and it's very strong, whereas the Cancer side of you is that warm-hearted nature. It is that caring nature, that very loyal aspect that comes to you. So you make for a really great partner, a really great husband, wife, just lifelong partner, whoever you identify as. We don't need labels on this channel. You're someone who is very creative and you love to think, you love to spend time by yourself, just thinking, contemplating, writing things down. You maybe love to journal or just be creative in lots of other ways. One thing about this cusp Leo is that you like to shop and you can be very headstrong. So cusp Leo, you have to make sure that you don't get yourself into any type of financial difficulty or debt, because you're stubborn, you're headstrong, and you like to spend money. So the cusp of Leo can be pretty possessive in love, but at the same time, you are very popular and you're worried that your partner is just as popular as you, which is usually actually not the case, because you're kind of like the main attraction in the relationship. But because you don't always see yourself that way, you can be possessive and a little jealous when it comes to love. You attract many friends and people just like to be around your energy. So now let's talk about the cusp of Leo for anyone born from August 18th through to August 22nd. This makes you a Leo with Virgo tendencies. You have a very strong personality and a strong sense of style. So all of my cusp Leos who have these Virgo tendencies, you are often the fashionistas. You are the ones who are the best put together, the best looking, okay? You're best dressed. You always have the best outfits prepared and just looks that are really striking. And you're more confident than Virgos because you have that Leo edge to you. The cusp of Leo born from August 18th through to August 22nd is very determined as well as goal-oriented. So once you've set your mind to accomplish something, you're going to do it. You're often very much more comfortable in an elegant setting, and you like to behave in a more elegant and poised manner. That is something that just makes you feel more at ease and more comfortable, and you're amazing at helping others. So cusp Leos are really philanthropists at heart, humanitarians, and the true ones, the ones who don't need to scream it from the rooftops or post it on Instagram. You are the type of person who makes decisions from the heart, and that is one thing that a lot of other cusps envy you for, all of my beautiful cusp Leos. So we're going to move on now to the cusp of Virgo. We're going to talk about all of the cusp Virgos born from August 23rd through to August 22nd. So if you were born in this time frame, you are a Virgo with Leo tendencies. This makes you reliable, kind, gracious. You have an amazing personal style. You're this person that is very caring, that has like mom energy or mom vibes in a very nurturing way, but at the same time you are very independent and you stand on your own and very strong in a way that doesn't just make you that mom friend. You are like that boss friend, if you know what I mean. You're very detail oriented and intelligent as well as street smart. So whether you were able to get a big kind of education or degree or not, as a cusp of Virgo, You're very savvy, and you are the type of person who will always find a way to make something happen if you really, really want to. And your IQ, honestly, is often above average. You're great at planning as well as organizing, so any type of job that entails a lot of organization or a lot of piecing little details together is amazing for cusp Virgos. And you are a social butterfly, and that's where you differ from regular Virgos, if we may say so, because you still have that Leo tendency in you to be a social butterfly and to be a little bit more outgoing than just regular Virgos. Now let's talk about the cusp of Virgo for anyone born September 18th through to September 22nd. So that makes you a Virgo with Libra tendencies. You're very drawn towards any type of creative endeavors. So you love to create things from scratch. You love to kind of just use your imagination to come up with things, and you're great at dealing with people. That is that Virgo Libra mixture that just gels really well with any type of person from any walk of life. So you're not very judgmental. You're the type of person who is quite open-minded, and people can sense that and really enjoy that in you. The cusp of Virgo in Libra is very lively as well as alert, and you have high standards for yourself and others, and you just love beauty. You love a beautiful aesthetic. So on Instagram, you maybe follow a lot of very aesthetic feeds, or just overall your living space is something that you're always trying to make beautiful and aesthetically pleasing. You like to collect beautiful things. Collecting beautiful things is something that the cusp of Virgo often tends to do. So if you can't make up your mind when it comes to shopping and you like to just acquire lots of beautiful things, not for any particular use or reason, but just because you love it and it's amazing, this may be why you feel drawn towards some expensive hobbies. So let's move on to the cusp of Libra. First, I'll be talking about the cusp of Libra for anyone who is born on September 23rd through to September 27th. So that would make you a Libra with Virgo tendencies. Other people like you, and you're very people-oriented. You can sometimes even be seen as a people pleaser. So you try to please others, and it works kind of vice versa. People really like to have you around, and you're very aware of your public image. The cusp of Libra is usually very skillful when it comes to their words as well as their presentation. So if you're, for example, representing yourself or a company, you know exactly what to say in order to make a successful presentation or land a successful deal. As a cusp of Libra, you're kind of flirtatious and you have a keen eye for details. So any types of jobs where you have to be detail-oriented are amazing for cusps of Libras. Now let's talk about the cusp of Libra born October 18th through to October 22nd. So you are then in fact a Libra with Scorpio tendencies. Now what does this mean? Being a Libra with Scorpio tendencies means that you are very magnetic as well as charming, and you often use that in order to maybe control situations or just tilt them in your favor. But to be fair, who wouldn't do that? You're someone who works very hard on your personal goals. Others see that and envy that, and you are a highly sensual as well as attractive person if you are born on the cusp of Libra and you're a Libra with these Scorpio tendencies. You can be very impatient and you can't stand drama, which means that having good friends who know what they want out of life, that is imperative. You would rather be alone and then have friends that drag you down. Now let's talk about the cusp of Scorpio. So if you were born on October 23rd through October 27th, then you are a cusp of Scorpio. That means that you are a Scorpio with Libra tendencies. You have a very elegant personality. That is what is definitely to be said about the cusp of Scorpio, and you have a lot of charm. You're a very good-natured person, and that is something that other people can feel and other people really appreciate in you. You're amusing as well as expressive. So yes, you're elegant, but at the same time, you're not dry or super conservative. You prefer your own space, but you're kind about it. You're friendly about it. You're not the type of person who will tell others to go away in a way that hurts their feelings, but you will make it clear when you need your personal space. And you're the type of person who doesn't commit to love very easily, and that's where being a Scorpio with Libra tendencies can be a little bit difficult because you dwell on love, you dwell on whether your partner truly loves you or not, and that is something that anyone who you're with definitely feels, that there can be a little bit of indecisiveness and you just kind of always being suspicious of ulterior motives. So if you're born on November 17th through to November 21st, then you are a cusp of Scorpio. You're in fact a Scorpio with Sagittarius tendencies. Now, what does this mean? This means that you have lots of different interests. Cusps of Scorpio are people who you can't really hold down or pin down to one thing. You often go through phases where you're obsessed with something, and that may last for a few weeks, months, sometimes even years, but then change to something completely different, and you are great at reinventing yourself. You are the type of person who has lots of different friends, so you don't just have friends from one walk of life, but you have lots of different friends from different places, maybe countries, religions, just backgrounds in general, and you really enjoy that because as a cusp of Scorpio, you're sensitive as well as intuitive. So you're in tune with what your body as well as your soul wants, and you're the type of person whose intuition and gut feeling is just undeniable. You can be very nervous at times because of this, so maybe you even have kind of like a nervous tummy or you suffer from headaches sometimes just because you are very sensitive and intuitive, and any change of weather or mood can affect you greatly. You're also very opinionated, but you can be objective if you have to be. So now let's talk about the cusp of Sagittarius. So anyone born on November 22nd through to November 26th, this is for you. You are a cusp of Sagittarius, which means that you are a Sagittarius with Scorpio tendencies. This makes for a very colorful personality. So people do always feel very entertained by you, and they never know what's coming next. You're very intelligent and versatile. So you don't feel like you have to commit to one thing. You understand that life is all about evolving and changing. You are forward thinking and not conservative at all. So you make for a great entrepreneur as well as overall friend who is always there to push others out of their comfort zone. You're active and you don't like solitude. Being alone is a no-no. You would rather spend time with the people closest to you. But you tend to spread yourself too thin if you are a Sagittarius cusp. Okay, so you're kind of trying to be everywhere, which can sometimes end up with you not really being anywhere at all, with you feeling like you're nowhere. And this is where you have to make sure that you prioritize and that you make sure that you're not doing more harm than good. As a cusp in Sagittarius, you are a passionate lover and you have an amazing intuition. You have a great gut feeling that often helps you avoid complicated situations if you do listen to it. Now let's talk about the cusp in Sagittarius for all of you who are born on December 17th through to December 21st. So this means that you are a Sagittarius with Capricorn tendencies. You're charming and good-natured, so you can get anyone to do anything if you really want to. You're very ambitious and you want to make a good life for yourself if you are a Sagittarius with Capricorn tendencies. You're very responsible and thorough. There is no detail that you will forget, and you make for an amazing parent parent or older sibling. You are someone who is very imaginative and you have a strong sense of self, so you don't let others tell you what to think, what to do, or who to be. You know exactly who you are and you make that clear to the entire world. Being born on December 17th through to December 21st means that you like to work in your bubble and flow with yourself and at your own pace. You're sensitive and you love very deeply. Once you do love, you're attached. You're almost like imprinted on that person, but you can tend to pick toxic partners, not gonna lie. Partners who can sometimes take your kindness for weakness. So as a Sagittarius with Capricorn tendencies, make sure that you're very careful who you end up with on a romantic level. Now let's talk about the cusp of Capricorn. If you're born on December 22nd through to December 26th, you are a Capricorn with Sagittarius tendencies. This means that you're very practical, okay? So you don't want to do anything too extra. You like to just keep things simple, and you can be unemotional but still loving. So you're not the type of person who cries very easily or ever, but you're still loving, and that's something that shows and shines through. You're very open-minded and forward-thinking, not conservative at all if you're a Capricorn with Sagittarius tendencies, and you're trustworthy and an amazing listener. You're very adventurous and you like to travel, so being on a plane, in a car, or on a bus is not something that you feel is time wasted because you always find a way to make it worth your while, and you can read between the lines. So you have this intuitive sense of when a lot more is being said without someone actually saying it. Now let's talk about all of you who are born on January 15th through to January 19th. You are also a cusp of Capricorn. Now that makes you a Capricorn with Aquarius tendencies. You're a very deep person with insight as well as vision. So you're open-minded and you tend to see the big picture more than the narrow little light at the end of the tunnel. You have a very generous nature and you see the positive. You're a loyal person. You're really an amazing friend to have. You can tend to settle for less in love, and you can tend to have high levels of anxiety when faced with challenges. So that's where it's important to learn to sometimes open up to friends, family, or maybe even seek therapy, not for any issues, but just to be able to talk and be in a safe space and to have someone listen to you who isn't going to judge you and where you don't have to worry about being judged. But being a cusp in Capricorn makes you definitely someone that people come to for advice, and it makes you an amazing leader. Now let's talk about the cusps in Aquarius, starting off with anyone born on January 20th through to January 24th. So that makes you an Aquarius with Capricorn tendencies. You're quick, versatile, as well as very capable. So any job that gets thrown at you, you can do it, and you can do it well. You're not someone who gets emotionally attached too easily. You have a very methodical approach to things and a great memory. So you won't just start a job or a task anywhere. You're going to make sure that you do it in a very precise and effective way. Being a cusp in Aquarius means that you run things best if they're run your way. So sometimes it can be your way or the highway. You're very witty as well as private and independent. So you don't like to share your deep, dark secrets with anyone. And this is something that can get in the way of love, as sometimes the cusp of Aquarius can be very analytical when it comes to love. So if you're born between February 14th through February 18th, you are actually an Aquarius with Pisces tendencies. Did you know that? That makes you very easygoing and charming. So you're the perfect mixture between being analytical but at the same time being loving and caring. You are someone who has many acquaintances but few friends, and you like spending money, which can sometimes get you into trouble, and where being a bit more Aquarius minded is helpful because then you would be a lot more methodical about things. But nevertheless, you are so forward thinking as well as progressive, which is what makes this cusp so special. You have a very light-hearted exterior, and you tend to hide any deep emotions and feelings from the outside world, and that is where it comes in that you have few real friends. You may know a lot of people and have a lot of acquaintances, and people may think that you are a social butterfly, but the people who really know you, you can count them on one hand, and that just makes any deep bond or friendship with the cusp in Aquarius so much more special. So now let's move on to the last cusp, which is the cusp in Pisces. So if you're born February 19th through to February 23rd, you are a Pisces with Aquarius tendencies. This means that you're very elegant and refined, but nevertheless still fun. You're the type of person who is organized and neat. You're very determined as well as good at making money. You're the type of person who has many interests, and you have strong opinions, strong likes and dislikes. So if you're not into something, people are going to find out. You are the type of person who is easily bored and very open-minded. So being open-minded is probably something that was born out of necessity for the cusp in Pisces. You tend to get bored so easily, and you tend to easily feel as though you've already seen something or done something, even if you've only experienced it once. You're the type of person who likes versatility and to have lots of different experiences that they can kind of like check off of their bucket list. So lastly, if you're born on March 16th through to March 20th, you too are a cusp of Pisces. You are a Pisces with Aries tendencies. This means that you're a very keen observer, and you're someone who is drawn to unusual people as well as ideas. So you're not into what everybody else is doing. If everybody else is doing it, you know that you're already too late to the party, or it's just not the party for you. You're the type of person who is very strong, and you have an impactful personality. So anyone who meets you is going to remember that they met you. You overcome every obstacle through your inner strength because you're such a strong person. And being a cusp Pisces with Aries tendencies means that you have very magnetic social skills, and you make for an amazing friend or acquaintance because you're always trying to help others. You're a very flirtatious person, but when you are in love, you're devoted, and you definitely don't play. So that is it for this video, all of the cusp signs explained. I really do hope that you found this video insightful. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up if you appreciate all of the work and effort that I put into it, and I'll see you in another one of my videos.